So just to set the scene a little bit, the play starts off in a convict ship on its way to Australia from Britain.
Yeah, and the play in a nutshell is about the evolution of a new generation Australia. So,
thank you very much. Enjoy.
At night, the sea cracks against the ship. Fear screams, whispers, fall silent, hushed. Spewed from our country, forgotten, bound to the dark edge of the earth. At night, what is there to do but seek English cunt? Warm, moist, soft. Oh, the comfort of the lick, the thrust into the nooks, the crannies of the crooks of England. England. Alone, frightened, nameless in the stinking hole of hell. Take me whoever you are. Take me inside you. Take me, my comfort, and remember England together. England.
Hunger. Funny. Doesn't start in the stomach, but in the mind. A picture fits in and out of a corner. Something you've eaten long ago. Roast beef with salt and grated Oswald.
I don't know why I did it. Love, I suppose.
Get off the ship, you filthy maggots!
A giant canoe drifts onto the sea. Clouds billowing from upright oars. This is a dream which has lost its way. Best to leave it alone.
This land is under English law. The court found them guilty and sentenced them accordingly.
But
there, a bold-eyed Corella.
But hanging.
Only the three were found guilty of stealing from the colony stores. And that, over there, on the eucalyptus, is the flock of Cacatua galerita, the sulphur-crested cockatoo. You have been made governor-in-chief of a paradise of birds, sir.
And I hope not to be human hell, Davy. Wait, not again. Don't shoot yet.
Let's observe them. Can we not be more humane?
Justice and humaneness have never gone hand in hand. The law is not a sentimental comedy.
I'm not suggesting that the convicts go without punishment. It is the spectacle of hanging I object to. The convicts will believe that nothing has changed and go back to their old ways.
The convicts never left their old ways, Governor, nor do they intend to.
Have these men lost all fear of being flogged?
John Ascot has already been sentenced to 150 lashes for assault.
The shoulder blades are exposed at about 100 lashes, and I would say that somewhere between 150 and 500 lashes, you're probably condemning a man to death anyway.
The convicts laugh at hangings. They watch them all the time.
It's their favourite form of entertainment, I should say.
Perhaps because they've never been offered anything else. Who are the condemned men, Harry?
Thomas Barrett, age 17.
17?
It does seem to prove that the criminal tendency is innate.
James Freeman, age 25, Irish. Transported 14 years for assault on a sailor. And Handy Baker, Marine, and thieves ringleader.
It is also justice to hang these men.
The sooner the better, I believe. There is much excitement in the colony about the hangings. It is their theatre, Governor. You cannot change that.
I would prefer them to see real plays. Fine language. Sentiment.
So, we will need a hangman.
Harry, you will have to organize the hangings and eventually find someone who fulfills that hideous office.
Shot.
Shot, sir.
It is my belief the hangings should take place tomorrow. The quick execution of justice for the good of the colony, Governor.
The good of the colony? Oh, look! Frightened a kangaroo.
Dreamt, my beloved Alicia, that I was walking with you and that you were in your riding habits. Oh, my dear woman, when shall I be able to hear from you? Harry,
I saw the light in your tent.
I was writing my journal. Is there any trouble?
No, I just came. Talk, you know. Oh, if I wrote a journal, it would fill volumes. Volumes. My travels with the captain? Well, his ecstasy now, nonetheless. Power to raise armies, build cities. The war in America, and before that, Ralph, my time in London. You know, sometimes I look at the convicts and I think, that could be you, Harry Brewer. You joined the Navy when you did. Duckling's gone silent on me again. I know it's because of that Handy Baker. I saw him as clearly as I see you. She wants me, he said. Even if you've hanged me. At least your poker's danced this last shindy, I said. At least mine's young and straight. I went for it, but it was gone. I know he'll be back, though. I just know it. I didn't want to hang him, Ralph. I didn't.
Harry, you should keep these things yourself.
Yeah, you're right, Ralph.
But he did steal that food from the stores.
You know, Duckling says she never reveals anything anymore. Do you know, she was sentenced to be hanged at Newgate for stealing 2 candlesticks. But I got her name put on the transport list. And when I remind her of it, she wouldn't have cared. 18 years old, she didn't care if she was turned off. Some of these women are sold before they're 10. The captain says we should treat them with some kindness.
How can you treat such women with kindness? Why do you think that?
Well, some of them are good women, Ralph. Have you never been tempted?
Well, never! The governor never seems to notice me.
He did suggest we should put on something to educate the convicts. A play.
A play? Who would act in a play?
Well, the convicts, of course.
I read The Tragedy of Lady Jane Grey on the ship. It is such a moving and uplifting play. But how could a whore play Lady Jane?
Well, some of these women are good women. I believe my duckling's good. If only she'd look at me, react. Who wants to fuck a corpse? I'm sorry, I've shocked you. I'll go.
Is the governor serious about putting on a play?
Well, when the captain decides something, Ralph.
If I went to him... No. It would be better if you did, Harry. You could tell the governor how much I like the theatre.
I didn't know that, Ralph. I'll tell him.
And Duckling could be in it, if he wanted.
I wouldn't want her to be looked at by all the men.
If the governor doesn't like Lady Jane, we could find something else. A comedy, perhaps.
I'll tell him, Ralph. I like you.
We heard you were looking for some women. Well, here I am.
Yes, I've asked to see some women to play certain parts in a play.
Oh, I can play. I can play with any part you like. Ain't nothing that puts Meg off. That's how I got my name. Shitty Meg.
The play has 4 particular parts for young women.
Don't want young women to your peculiar self. They don't know nothing. Shut your eyes.
You don't understand now. Here the play is called The Recruiting Officer.
I can do that too.
What?
For recruiting. Anybody you like. Who do you want?
I want to try some out.
Good idea, that. Good idea.
Now, if you don't mind. What? Long?
Well, you let me know when you want Meg. Old shitty Meg.
Oh, Mr. Clock. I'm calling you Mr. Clock as one calls Mr. Garrick Mr. Garrick. We have not had the pleasure of meeting before.
I've seen you on the ship.
Different circumstances, Mr. Clock. Best forgotten. I was once a gentleman. My fortune has turned. The wheel. I heard you're doing a play. Ah, Dry Mr. Garrick.
You say you were a gentleman, Sideway?
Top of my profession, Mr. Clock. Pickpocket. Born and bred in Bermondsey. Do you know London, sir? Don't you miss it? In these, my darkest hours, I remember my happy days in that great city. London Bridge at dawn. Hand on a cold iron for good luck. Down shipside with the market traders. Never refuse them in spy. And in St. Paul's churchyard, I do love a good church and begging work in Bond Street. Oh. Ladies, I shall await your word of command. I shall be in the wings.
You asked to see Mary Brennan, Lieutenant. Here she is.
Yes, the governor has asked me to put on a play. You know what a play is.
I've seen lots of plays before. So has Mary.
Have you, Brennan?
Yes.
Can you remember which plays you've seen?
I can't remember what they were called, but I always knew when they were going to end badly. How does this one end?
It ends happily. It's called The Recruiting Officer.
Well, Mary wants to be in your play, Lieutenant, and so do I.
Do you think you have a talent for acting, Brennan?
Of course she does, and so do I.
Do you know The Recruiting Officer, Bryant?
No. I want to play Mary's friend, and in all those plays, there's always a friend.
The Reverend says you can't read and write, Brennan.
She went to school until she was 10. She used to read to us on the ship. We loved it. It put us to sleep.
Shall we try reading some of the play? I meant read it aloud, as you did on the ship. I'll help you. I read Justice Balance, your father. Yes, Captain Plume.
A captain? Mary!
Start here, Brenner.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir.
Ooh, I like this! This is a good play.
She hasn't finished. Start again, Brenner. That's good.
Whilst there is life, there is hope, sir. Perhaps my brother may recover.
Excellent, Brenner. Very fluent. But you could read a little louder. Now I read. And remember, this is a comedy. They don't really mean it. It's to make people laugh. The death of your brother makes you sole heiress to my estate, which, you know, is about £1,200 a year.
£1,200? This must be a comedy.
My desire of being punctual in my obedience requires that you would be plain in your command, sir.
I think that's enough. You read very well, Burnham. Would you also be able to copy the play? We have only 2 copies.
Of course she will. Where do I come in, Lieutenant? The cousin.
Can you read, Bryant?
Oh, not those marks in the books. But I can read other things. I read dreams very well, Lieutenant. Very well.
Well, I don't think you're the right for Melinda. I'm thinking of someone else. And if you can't read...
Mary will read me the lines.
Well, there is Rose.
Rose. I like the name. I'll be Rose. And who is she?
She... well, it's complicated. She falls in love with Sylvia. Because Sylvia is pretending to be a man. But of course she can't.
Play the flute! Which is not the only one around here.
I would like to hear you.
I don't know my lines yet, Lieutenant. When I know my lines, you can hear me do them. Come on, Mary.
I didn't say you could. I'm not certain I want you in the play.
Yes, you do, Lieutenant. Mary will read me the lines. And I, Lieutenant, will read you your dreams.
Ah, here's your cousin, Melinda, Sylvia's cousin.
You can't have her in your play.
Well, why not?
You don't have to be able to read the future to know that Liz Morton is going to be hanged. I understand you want me in your play, Lieutenant.
I'll think about it.
To the king!
A play! A flippery, flittering play, I hear.
To celebrate the king's birthday on June the 4th.
If the frigating ship doesn't appear soon, we'll all be struck with strict starvation. And you, a play!
Not putting on the play won't bring us a supply ship, Robin.
Play! And you want those contemptuous convicts to act in the play. The prisoners are here to be punished, and we're here to make sure they get punished.
Swear, Marines, war, food. We are indeed here to supervise the convicts who are already being punished by their long exile. Surely, Reverend, you believe that man can be redeemed? By the grace of God and a belief in the true church, yes. But Christ never proposed putting on plates to its disciples. However, he didn't forbid it either. It must depend on the play.
He did propose putting on... He did propose to treat sinners, especially women who sin, with some compassion.
We know about your compassion. Not to say passion for the women convicts, Harry.
A crime is a crime. You commit a crime or you don't. If you commit a crime, you are a criminal. Surely that is logical. It's like the savages here. A savage is a savage because he behaves in a savage manner. To expect anything else is foolish.
Actually, they seem happy enough as they are. They do not want to build canoes or houses, nor do they suffer from greed and ambition.
Which can't be said of our convicts. But really, I don't see what this has to do with a play.
But it could change the nature of our little society.
My dear Ralph, a bunch of convicts mouthing words written no doubt by some London ass will hardly change our society.
Well, Josh Fuckwhat was not an ass, and he was from Ireland.
The play doesn't propagate Catholic doctrine, does it, Ralph? What's the plot, Ralph?
It's about this recruiting officer and his two friends, and they are in love with these two young ladies from Shrewsbury. And after some difficulties, they marry them.
It sanctions holy matrimony, then?
Yes, it does.
That won't do the convicts any harm. I'm having such trouble to get them to marry instead of this sordid cohabitation they're so used to. Some of these men will be freed in a few years and will become members of society again and help create a new society here on this island. Surely, shouldn't we encourage them now to think in a free and responsible manner?
I'm not sure a comedy about two lovers will do that, Arthur.
The theatre is an expression of our civilization. The convicts will be speaking refined, literate language and expressing sentiments with delicacy they are not used to. It will remind them that there is more to life than crime and punishment.
I'm not sure it's a good idea having the convicts laugh at the officers, Arthur.
No discipline.
In my own small way, in a just few hours, I have seen some things change. I asked some of the comic women to read me some lines. These women will behave often no better than animals. And it seemed to me as if they seemed to acquire dignity. They seemed to lose some of their corruption. And in a small way, this could affect all the convicts and even ourselves. We could forget our worries about the supplies, the hangings, the floggings, and think of ourselves at the theatre in London. Well, that is, we could transcend the darker, transcend the brutality. Remember our better nature, and remember
England.
You are making claims that cannot be substantiated, Ralph. It's 2 hours, possibly of amusement and possibly of boredom, and we will lose the labour of the convicts during the time they're learning the play. It's a waste, an unnecessary waste.
I'm still concerned about this content.
The content of a play is irrelevant.
Even if it teaches injustice, disobedience, revolution,
We have agreed it can do no harm. And we have also agreed it can do some good. And since Major Russ is the only person violently opposed to it with Captain Tench, I suggest we allow Ralph to rehearse his play. Your Excellency, I believe it's for the play and myself. I'm convinced it will prove a most interesting experiment. So let us conclude with a good wishes to Ralph for successful production. I have summed up the feeling of the assembled company, Arthur, but the last word must be yours.
I will not accept this. Your willy-woolly wobbly
Words! The last word will be the play, gentlemen.
trees look more lovely from here. Did you know the eucalyptus tree can't be found anywhere else in the world? Captain Collins told me that. Isn't that interesting? I thought you'd enjoy walking to Rouse Island. I thought it would remind you of walking by the Thames. Look how blue the water is. Duckling, say something, Duckling.
If I was walking by the Thames, I'd be free.
Duckling.
At least the jailer of Newgate left you alone and you could talk to people.
I let you talk to the women.
Esther Abrams? Mary Brennan?
They're good women.
I don't have anything to say to those women, Harry. My friends on the women's camp.
It's not the women you're after in the women's camp, it's the men who come looking for butter. I know you. Who'd you have your eye on now, huh? Who? Another Marine? A corporal? Who? Duckling? Who? Oh, I know. You found somebody already, haven't you? Where'd you go? On the beach? In my tent, like with Handy Baker? Where? Under the fucking trees?
You know I hate trees. Don't be so filthy.
Filthy? You're filthy, you filthy whore.
Why are you so angry with your duckling, Harry? Don't you like it when I open my legs wide too? Cross them over you the way you like? What will it do when a duckling isn't there anymore to touch you with the soft fingertips, Harry? Where you like it? First the left nipple, then the right.
Duckling.
I need freedom sometimes, Harry.
You have to earn your freedom with good behavior.
Why did you let them hang me and take my coat with you, Harry? You could have kept that in chains. I wish I was dead. At least when you're dead, you're free.
You know, Lieutenant Clark's play? You could be in it. You could rehearse in the evenings with Lieutenant Clark.
So he can watch over me instead of you?
Duckling, I'm trying to make you happy.
I'll be in the play.
Oh, but you won't try anything with Lieutenant Clark, will you?
With that, Molly? No.
Good. You're talking to me again. Will you kiss your Harry? I'll come to the rehearsals, just in case.
Are you remembering your lines, Davy? No. What lines? I was remembering Devon. I was on my way back to Big Bree Bay.
You promised Lieutenant Clark you'd learn your lines.
I want to go back. I want to see a wall of stone. I want to hear the Atlantic breaking in the estuary. I can take a boat into any harbour, in any weather. I can do it as well as the governor.
What about your lines, Dabby?
I don't want to spend the rest of my life in this flat, burnt-out little country. Or give me some English rain.
It rains here.
It's not the same. I could recognise English rain anywhere. And Devon rain, Mary. Devon rain is as soft as your breasts. As soft as Lieutenant Clark's dimpled cheeks.
Dabby, don't.
You're wasting time, girl. He's ripe for plucking. You can always tell with men. They begin to walk sideways.
Don't! I've listened to you once before.
And what would you have done without that lanky sailor, drooling all over you?
I would have been less of a whore.
If God didn't want women to be whores, he wouldn't have created men who paid for their bodies. Now as you with your little sailor, there were women in that stinking pit of a hold, with 3 men on them at once. Men with the pox, men with the flocks, men biting like dogs.
But if you don't agree to it, you're not a whore. You're a martyr.
You have to be a virgin to be a martyr, Mary. And you didn't come on this ship a virgin. A.H. I love thee to the heart. Tattooed way up there.
That was different. That was love.
The second difficulty with being a martyr is that you have to be dead to qualify. Now you didn't die thanks to me. You had 3 pounds of beef a week instead of 2. 2 extra ounces of cheese.
Which you were happy to eat.
We women have to look after each other. Let's learn the lines.
How can I play Sylvia? She's brave and strong. She would have never have done what I've done.
She didn't spend 8 months and 1 week on a convict ship. Anyways, you can pretend you're her.
No! I have to be her.
Why?
Because that's acting.
Well, there's no way I'm being Rose. She's an idiot!
What are you doing? You can't do the play without me. I'm in it. Where's the lieutenant?
We're not doing your scenes.
Well, do them.
You can read. You can read your own lines.
I'm waiting.
What are you waiting for, Liz Morden? A blind man to come buy your wares?
We'll do the first scene between Minland and Sylvia, all right?
Yeah, the first scene.
I forgot my book. I'll go now. You start. Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia.
Welcome to town, Cousin Sylvia.
Go on. I envied you.
I envied you. You do it first.
Why?
So I can hear how you do it.
Why?
So I can do it different.
I envied you. You're in Shrewsbury, methinks, and all your heads are shires.
Why don't you read the lines? You can't read!
What?
I'll teach you the lines.
Are you her friend now? Is that it? Mary, the holy, thieving, and innocent bitch!
Oh. Good morning, ladies. And aren't you supposed to be at work instead of at each other's throats?
I wouldn't talk a phrase about you, Mr. Hangman Catch Screaming. Crap merchant, rapping call, switcher!
Roper? I was only asking, being friendly and all.
Stick to your little roast, my little god, don't bother the actresses.
Actresses? You're doing a play?
Bar the decks and the Paddington Frisk in your arms, noser.
I'll nose you, Liz, if you're not careful.
I would take a leap in the dark rather than turn off my own kind. Now take your renegades out of our sight. We have lines to learn.
Don't hang too many people, Ketch. We need an audience.
Don't mind me, sir. I'm sorry to disturb you. I say 50 Hail Marys every night. Don't worry, I'll wait outside.
What do you want?
Oh, don't mind me. I'll wait quietly.
What? Why aren't you in the cab at this hour?
God forgive me, I should be. But I'm not. I'm here. Come to talk to you, sir.
Get back to the cab immediately. I'll see you in the morning, Kit.
Ah! Sorry. Please don't call me that name, please. That's why I came to talk to you, sir.
I was about to go to sleep.
Don't you want to finish your prayers? I used to watch my mother, may her poor soul rest in peace. I used to watch my mother say her prayers every night.
Get on with it.
When I pray, I have terrible doubt. How can I be sure that God's forgiven me? And how can I be sure that He hasn't forgiven me yet? That's why I don't want to die. I can't die, not until I'm sure. Are you sure?
I'm not a convict. I don't sin.
I have to be sure, But if we're in God's power, isn't He the one that makes us sin? When I was born, I was given a guardian angel, like all good Catholics. But why didn't He look after me better?
Why have you come here?
I'm getting to that, sir.
Hurry up, then.
I'm speaking as fast as I can.
Oh, Kit.
If my mother hadn't brought us to London, may her poor soul rest in peace and breathe pity into the hearts of hard women, then nothing would have happened. I wasn't even near the soldier that got killed. I didn't kill him. And when I come here, it's the same. Anyways, what I wanted to come and say was, I saw some women in our camp practicing some Luynes, and they love the actors like angels. Angels. I want to be an actor.
I'll think about it.
I would rather cancel than command. I don't propose this with the authority of a parent, but as the advice of a friend.
Friend, that's a good word. Short, but full of promise.
That you should take the coach this moment and go into the country.
Country can mean opposite things. It renews you with trees and grass. You go rest in the country, or it crushes you with power. You die for your country. Your country doesn't want you. You're thrown out of your country. I like words. My father cleared the house of the dead to sell the old clothes to the poor by the Thames. He found a dictionary, Johnson's dictionary. It was as big as a Bible. It went from A to L. I started with the A's. Abecedarian, someone who teaches the alphabet or rudiments of literature. Abject, a man without hope.
What does indulgent mean?
How's it used?
You have been so careful, so indulgent to me.
It means ready to overlook faults. You have to be careful with words that begin with in. Injustice. Most of that word's taken up with justice, but the in turns it inside out, making it the ugliest word in the English language.
Guilty is an uglier word.
Innocent ought to be a beautiful word, but it's not. It's full of sorrow, anguish.
I don't have much time. We start this in a few days.
You have a beautiful hand.
There's so much to copy, so many words.
I can write.
Why don't you tell this to Lieutenant Clark? He's doing it.
No, I'm...
Afraid?
diffident. Shy is not a bad word, it's soft.
Shame is a hard one.
Words with two L's are the worst. Lonely, loveless.
Love is a good word.
That's because it only has one L. I like words with one L. Luck, latitudinarian, laughter.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies? Wait till I tell my husband I've become a lady.
It is with pleasure that I welcome you.
Our pleasure, Mr. Clark. Our pleasure.
We have many days of hard work ahead of us.
Work? I thought we was acting.
Yes, we are. Now, let me introduce the company.
Oh, we've all met before, Lieutenant. You could say we know each other. You could say we know each other in the dark.
It's a theatrical custom. The company is formally introduced to each other. Mrs. Bryant?
Mrs. Bryant? Who's Mrs. Bryant?
It's a theatrical form of address. You may call me Mr. Sideway, madam.
If I may proceed.
You're interrupting the divester.
So we are, Mr. Hangman.
The ladies first. Mary Brenham wished to play Sylvia. Liz Morton wished to play Melinda. Duckling Smith wished to play Lucy, Melinda's maid.
I'm not playing Liz Morton's maid.
Why not?
I live with an officer. He wouldn't like it.
Just because she lives chained up in that old Tosspot's garden.
Don't you dare
You're
take
not
up my
playing
house!
Morton's miss. You're playing Melinda. And Duby Bryant wished to play Rose, a country girl.
From Devon.
Good job!
So, bitch!
That's the ladies. Now, Captain Plume will be played by Eric Cable. Seems to be late. Sergeant Kite is to be played by John Ascot, who did send a message. He will be kept at work an extra hour.
An hour? You won't see him in an hour.
Mr. Worthy will be played by Mr. Sideway.
I'm here.
Justice Balance by James Freeman.
No way I'm doing a play with the hangman. The words will stick up my throat.
You don't have any scenes within me. Now, if I could finish the introductions. Captain Brazen is to be played by John Weishammer. The rest of you can watch and wait for your scenes. Perhaps we should begin by reading it.
No need, Mr. Clock. I know it.
I'm afraid I shall have to read Captain Plume.
I know that part too. Would you like me to do both?
I think it's better if I do it. Shall we begin?
I am preparing my entrance, Mr. Clock. I won't be a minute. Could you read the line again? Slowly, please.
'Tis indeed the picture of Worthy, but the life departed. What? Arms across, Worthy!
Arms across. I should have to start again. Could you read the line again? Louder, please.
What? Arms across, Worthy!
My wiper! Someone buzzed my wiper! There's a wipe jar in this room, Mr. Clark!
What's the matter?
There's a pickpocket in the company!
Talk of the pot calling the kettle black!
My handkerchief! Who bring my handkerchief?
I'm sure it will turn up sideways. Let's go on.
I can't do my entrance without my handkerchief! I've been practicing it all night!
Let's assume Worthy has already entered sideway. Now I say, what? Arms across, Worthy. Methinks you should hold him open. When a friend so near, I must expel this melancholy spirit. What are you doing down the sideway?
I am being melancholy, Mr. Clark. I saw Mr. Garrick being melancholy once. That is what he did. Hamlet. It was. Oh, that is two solid flesh and mouth. Oh, that is two solid flesh.
Thank you, Sideway. This is a comedy. It is perhaps a little lighter. Try simply to step normally and look melancholy.
I like the word melancholy.
A greeting. Yes, a greeting looks like this. Blue. Now I've changed to say the next word. My dear Captain, that's the affection, isn't it? Now, if I put my hand on my heart, like this. Welcome! I'm not quite sure how to do welcome.
I think if you just say the line.
Quite. Sure.
What are you doing, Sideway?
I'm checking that you're safe and sound return. That's what the line says. Safe and sound return.
Well, you don't need to touch him. You can see that. Caesar, we're rehearsing. Would you...
I see that, Monsieur Lieutenant. I see it is a piece of theatre. I've seen many pieces of theatre in my beautiful island of Madagascar, and so I have decided to play in your piece of theatre.
There are no lines for it, Caesar.
There is always a part for Caesar.
All the parts have been taken.
I will play his servant.
Farquhar has written a servant for Worthy.
Oh, he can have my part.
There is always a black servant in a play, and Caesar is that servant. Now I stand right behind him, and I will be his servant.
There is no part for you.
But I speak in French. That makes him a more high-up gentleman if he has a French servant. Now he gets the lady with the black servant. Very chic.
Pardon your lines.
supposed to happen?
As if. But
Welcome to town, cousin Sylvia. I envied you retreat to shoot most things and all.
Mother, you know that I'm very well. But you might want to try and act them. Let's look at the scene. You're a rich lady. You're at home. Now a rich lady would stand in a certain way. Try to stand like a rich lady.
Mm-hmm.
Try to look at Sylvia with a certain assurance.
Confidence.
Like this. You've seen rich ladies, haven't you?
Robbed a few.
Well, how did they behave?
They screamed.
Have you ever seen a lady in her own house?
I used to stand outside the houses and just look there. I wouldn't take anything. I'd just stand there. Like this.
But if it was your own house, you would think it was normal to live like that.
It's not normal. It's not normal when others have nothing.
When acting, you have to imagine things. You have to imagine you're someone different. So now, think of a rich lady and imagine you're her. What are you doing?
If I was rich, I'd eat myself sick. Me too. Potatoes.
Run them! Enough, Duby, get on with the scene, please. Brenham, it's your turn to speak.
Prithee, Melinda, don't put such an air to me.
Excellent, Brenham. You could be a little more sharp on the don'ts.
Don't. Your education and mine are just the same. And I do remember a time when we didn't trouble our heads about air, but when the fresh air from the Welsh mountain made our noses drop at the boarding school.
Good, good. Modern.
Our education, cousin, was the same, but our temperaments have nothing alike.
That's a little better, Modern, but you need to be quite so angry with her. Now go on, Brenham.
So far,
it's your speech, I think. It's your turn to speak.
Oh, yes. You have the constitution of a horse.
Much better, Modern. But you must always remember you're a lady. What can we do to help you? Lucy,
That's you, Dockling.
see that little piece of wood over there? Take it to Melinda. That will be your fun.
I'm not fetching anything for Liz, Morden.
You're not playing. She's not Modern. She's Melinda, your mistress, and your servant, Lucy. So now take that fine.
Thank you, Lucy. I do not appreciate the effort.
No, you would nod your head.
Don't add any words to the play.
Now, Lucy, stand behind Modern.
But what do I say?
Nothing.
But where does she get all the lines? Why can't I have some of
Brenham,
hers?
it's your speech.
So far as to be troubled, with neither spleen nor colic, no vapours. I need no salt for my stomach.
Major Ross, Captain Cover, I'm rehearsing.
Rehearsing! Rehearsing!
Rehearsing.
Lieutenant Clark is rehearsing. Lieutenant Clark asked us to give him 2 hours so he could rehearse. But what has he done with them? What?
The other things.
While you were rehearsing, Cable and Arscott, do you know where they are?
They seem to be late.
Yeah. Cable and Arscott slipped into the woods with 3 others. So 5 men have run away, and it's all because of your dance play and your so-called Thespis. And not only have your Thespis run away, they've stolen food from the stores for their renegade escapade. That's what your play has done.
I don't see what the
I said it from the beginning. Your play will bring down calamity on this colony.
No, it isn't.
You're Jewish, aren't you? You're guilty. Cable was last seen near Wisehammer's hut. Liz Morden. She was observed next to the colony stores. late last night in the company of Cable, who is supposed to be repairing the door. Liz Mordaunt, you will be tried from stealing from the stores. You know your punishment? Death by hanging. And now you may continue to rehearse, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, sit down. Now I hear you want to stop playing, Lieutenant.
Well, half of my class is in chains, sir.
That is a difficulty, but it can be overcome. That's your only reason, Lieutenant.
So many people seem against it, sir.
Are you afraid?
No, but I do not wish to displease my superior officers.
If you break conventions, it's inevitable that you shall make enemies. This play, it irritates them.
Yes, and well, there is Liz Mordaunt. She's not appropriate.
Liz Mordaunt. I had a reason for asking you to cast her as Melinda, Lieutenant. Liz Mordaunt is one of the most difficult women in the colonies.
She is indeed, sir.
Lower than a slave, full of loathing, foul mouth, desperate.
Exactly, sir. And violent.
Quite. To be made an example of.
By hanging?
No, Lieutenant. By redemption.
The Reverend says he's given up on us, sir.
The Reverend's an ass, Lieutenant. I'm speaking of redeeming her humanity.
I'm afraid there may not be much left, sir.
Who knows what humanity may lie into the rags and filth of a mangled life? I have seen soldiers given up for dead, limbs torn, heads cut open, come back to life. If we treat her as a corpse, of course she will die. Try a little kindness, Lieutenant.
But would she be hanged, sir?
Don't want a woman hanged, Lieutenant. You'll need to help me.
Sir?
I want to rule over responsible human beings, not tyrannize over a group of animals. I want there to be a contract between us. Not a whip on my side and fear and terror on theirs.
Yes, sir. The play.
Won't change much, but it is a world into itself. A tiny colony, you might say. And you are in charge of it. That is a great responsibility.
I will lay down my life if I have to, sir.
I don't think that will be necessary, Lieutenant. You need only do your best.
Yes, sir. I will, sir.
Excellent.
Duckling! Duckling! She's on the beach, Harry, waiting for her young Handy Baker. No. No! Go away, Handy! Go away! The dead never go away, Harry. You thought you'd be the only one to dance the buttock ball with your troll. But you don't own a horse, cunt, Harry. You rent. No. I didn't want to hang you! I didn't! You wanted me hanged. No. You wanted me dead. All right. All right! I wanted you dead. Just please. Leave me alone. Death is horrible, Mr. Brewer. It's dark. There's nothing.
What's the matter, Harry?
I've seen them!
Who?
They're dead! They're everywhere!
I heard a scream from the beach. You're having another bad
No,
dream.
no, it's not. Let me come inside you.
Now?
Yes.
Will you forget the nightmare?
Yes, yes.
Come then.
Wait, what were you doing on the beach? You were with him? He told me you were with him!
Harry, wait!
Some dreams lose their way and wander over the earth, lost. But this is a dream no one wants. It has stayed. How can we befriend this crowded, hungry, and disturbed dream?
Here is some of your caterwauling cast, Lieutenant.
The governor said to release the prisoners.
Sideway, go over the scene you rehearsed in prison with Melina, please.
I mean, that's in do, Monsieur Lieutenant.
No, you're not.
Yes, he is, Lieutenant.
He's my servant. We rehearsed Sylvia's entrance as Jack Wilful. Where is Ascot?
We haven't finished with our Scott yet.
The punishment for escape. Fainted. 53 lashes left.
Brennan, are you ready? 1-7, I play Captain Plume.
The wee lieutenant wants to be in the play too. He wants to be promoted to convict. We'll have you in the chain gang soon, Mr. Clark.
Major, we will rehearse now. We wish to rehearse.
No one's stopping you.
Major, there is a modesty attached to the process of creation that must be respected.
Modesty! Modesty! Sideways!
Sideways,
Come here!
stay.
I would not try to countermand the orders of a superior officer! Sideways! Take your shirt off. 100 lashes on the serious for answering an officer. Remember, Sideway, 300 lashes for trying to strike the same officer. I have seen the white of this animal's bones, his wretched blood, and reeky convict urine spilled on my boots, and he's feeling modest. Are you feeling modest, Sideway? Bryant! Bryant! On all fours. Now. Wag your tail and bark, and I'll throw you a biscuit. What you don't remember? Isn't that how you begged for your food on the ship? Wag your tail and bark, Bryant. We'll wait. Brenham. Where's your tattoo, Brenham? Show us. I can't see it.
What pleasure. I may receive a robe. In situation is uncertain, but this I am sure of. I should meet with less cruelty among the most barbarous nation.
You and I, sir, have been dealing a great while, and I fancy the sooner we look into our accounts, the sooner we should come to an agreement.
Sure, madam. You won't dispute you will be in my depths. Sighs, vows, promises, anxieties, jealousies have run on for a whole year.
Get that. Sighs, vows, promises, anxieties.
Come, Captain Campbell. We'll start Ascot's punishment.
When taking the advantage.
When taking the advantage and when taking the advantage and necessity of my innocence. When taking the necessity and advantage of sir.
Just measure her for a moment.
Liz, we have to measure you now. We're going to have to get up now. Sorry. Please. She won't get up, Mr. Brewer. How can I measure her if she doesn't get up?
It's very difficult, Mr. Brewer.
Why don't you ask her? She'll get up for you.
Get up, you bitch! Get up! Are you done?
Yes, I have all the measurements. They won't laugh at you, Liz. You won't be shamed. I'll make sure of that.
You could hang yourself. Let's go.
Goodbye, Liz. You were the best Melinda I ever knew. Mr. Brewer?
What?
Tell the lieutenant I didn't take the food.
Why are you saying this now? Why are you lying? Now!
Tell the lieutenant I didn't take the food. I want to know. Afterwards.
Morden!
Ghosts in a multitude have spilled from the dream. Who are they? A swarm of ancestors comes through unmended cracks in the sky. But why? What do they need? If we can satisfy them, they will go back. How can we satisfy them?
For I swear, madam, by the honour of my profession, that whatever dangers I went upon, it was with the hope of making myself more worthy of your esteem. And if I ever had thoughts of preserving my life, it was with the pleasure of dying at your feet.
Well, well, you shall die at my feet or wherever you will. But you should know that there's a certain will and testament to be made beforehand. I don't understand why Sylvia asked Plume to make a will. It's a proof of his love. He wants to provide for her.
He gives her his will to indicate he intends to take care of her.
That's right, Lieutenant. Marriage is nothing. But will you look after her? A woman should look after her own interests, that's all.
Her interest is to love.
A girl will love the first man who knows how to open her legs. She gets called a whore and ends up here. I could write scenes, Lieutenant, about women with real lives, not these Shrewsbury prudes.
Thank you, Debbie.
You mustn't trust the wrong people, Mary. We can make a new life together here. I could marry you. We could live together in a house. He'd have to put you in a hut at the bottom of his garden and call you a servant in public. That is his hall. Don't do it, Mary.
Lieutenant, are we rehearsing or not? Arscott
I have been waiting for hours.
Yes, we rehearsed Sylvia's entrance as Jack Wilford. You're in the scene, right, Summer? But we'll come to you scenes in a minute, Bryant. Now, Brenham, remember what I showed you yesterday about walking like a gentleman? I've ordered breeches to be made for you. You can practice in them tomorrow.
I'll tuck my skirt in.
Save ye, gentlemen.
My dear, I'm yours.
Well, it doesn't say Sylvia's kiss in the stage directions.
Yes, but we're both captains and we fight for her love.
It's completely wrong.
It's right for the character of Bryson.
No, it isn't. I am the director, White Summer.
Yes, but we both are fighting for her in the end. Who's to play Plume?
I will have to, as Cable doesn't come back.
Will I be given a sword?
I doubt it. Well, let's move on to Cat's entrance. Ascot has been waiting too long.
I think the recruiting officer is a silly play. I want to be in a play that has more interesting people in it.
I like playing Sylvia. She's bold and she breaks rules out of love for her captain. And she's not ashamed.
She wasn't born poor. She hasn't had to survive. And her father is a justice of the peace. I want to play myself.
I don't want to play myself. When I say kite lines, I can forget everything else. I can forget the judge said I'm going to spend the rest of my natural life in this place, getting beaten and working like a slave. I can forget that out there, it's trees and burnt grass. Spiders will kill me in 4 hours, and snakes. I don't have to think about what happened to Cable, and I don't have to remember things I've done. When I say kite lines, I don't hate anymore. I'm Kite. I'm in Shrewsbury. Can we get on with the scene, Lieutenant, and stop talking?
I want to be in a play that shows life as we know it.
Brian, you're playing a pretty country wench who wants to entice the captain. You have to say your lines with a charming blushes.
I don't blush! Why do I have to play a silly milkmaid? Why can't I play kites?
You can't play a man.
You're playing a man, Jack Wilford.
But that's different. Because in the play, I know I'm a woman. Whereas, if you played kite, you would have to think you're a man.
Well, if Wisehammer can think he's a big country lad, then I can think I'm a man. People who go to the theatre should use their imagination. And people who don't have any imagination shouldn't go to the theatre at all.
Brian, you're muddling everything.
No, I see things very clearly, Lieutenant, and I'm making you see things clearly. I want to play kite.
If you live, I will never again punish you with my silence. If you live, I will never again turn away from you. If you live, I will never tell you I want to leave you. If you live, I'll speak to you. If you live, I'll be tender with you. If you live, I'll look after you. If you live, I will love you. If you die, I will never forgive you! I hate you! No, I love you. How could you do this?
satisfied as to the point in debate. But now, let me beg you to lay aside your recruiting airs, put on the man of honour, and tell me plainly what usage I must expect when I'm under your command. And something tells me that if you do discharge me, 'twill be the greatest punishment you can inflict. For anything would be less terrible to me than to be behind you. And now, your hand. This lifts me. And now you are my captain.
Your friend. It's death. There is something in this fellow that charms me.
One favour I must beg. This affair will make some noise.
Sylvia.
I must therefore take care to be impressed by the Act of Parliament.
What you please as to that. Will you lodge at my quarters in the meantime? You shall have part of my bed. Sylvia. Mary.
Am I doing it well? It's difficult to play a man. It's not the way you walk, it's the way you hold your head. A man doesn't bow his head so much, and never an angle. I must therefore face you without lowering my head. Let's try again.
But you please as to that. Will you lodge at my quarters in the meantime? You shall have part of my bed. Mary, will you?
Yes.
Don't lower your head. Sylvia wouldn't. I've never looked at the body of a woman before.
Your wife?
Wasn't like to look at her. Let me see you.
Yes. Let me see you.
Let her be free! I will not have a woman hanged!
Look! Oozing passes on my skin. Heat